What's going on, Survivor fans? We are back for season 38, episode 1, Survivor Edge of Extinction. We're so excited. We've got 14 new players, 4 returning players, personalities clash, secret adventures are found, a new twist is revealed, and it's only episode 1. Don't click away.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's going on, Survivor fans? We are back, like I just said. We're so excited.
I was so excited the entire last week.
Literally.
For today.
I missed you guys.
I missed you too. I was just getting done telling you that literally when they asked us to come back for this panel, it was the most exciting email I had gotten in a while.
So we're all at AfterBuzz a lot.
Yeah.
We are never at
never
AfterBuzz on the
cross
same
paths.
day.
No.
I'm with Veronica all the time.
Sorry.
Not on the
Right.
same shows. Every single time it's like, it's come. It's like 3 weeks. I
It's
come.
crazy.
But because we see each other out, that's what's going to cause our Survivor
Yes.
competition.
Yes.
Well, we're all reunited again. Unfortunately, everybody Paige is not here right now. She's over on Extinction Island. Mike thought that'd be a good idea.
She's fighting her way back.
She's
I love
fighting.
that.
She
she's
chose
fighting her
the
way
right
back.
path, I
Yes.
think.
She
She
did.
didn't
She chose not
decide
to
to
go
go
home.
home.
No, she would never leave us,
No.
you guys. Never. No. She's going to fight her way back, you guys. So hopefully she'll be back later on in the season. But for right now, we will cover and we will make up for it. We missed you all. If you're in the chat, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your opinions of the episode. Speaking of the episode, you guys, what did you guys think of the episode?
It's always tough.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, they're giving me so much hate right now. No, it's always tough to kind of get thoughts on the first episode of a new season of Survivor because you're getting introduced to all these new people. It's hard to kind of think, oh, who's going to be good, who's not going to be good, because it's an introductory episode.
Yeah.
I am a little iffy on kind of what they were doing this season. I'm iffy about only 4 veterans returning as opposed to doing a completely brand new cast or a complete veteran cast. They did do this before with Philippines. They brought back 3 veterans, and I thought that did work out pretty well, so I'm hoping the same happens here.
Yeah.
And Extinction Island, I don't know. I kind of feel like it might turn out to be a wannabe Redemption Island, which I
Yeah.
also have thoughts about Redemption Island. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I'm just so pumped. I don't care. I'm so excited.
Well, speaking of,
Veronica talked down.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mike.
No.
I was so excited that I totally forgot to introduce ourselves. I mean, you guys.
Everybody knows who
Don't
we
you know
are.
who we are? You guys, we're like famous. I'm just kidding. I am Timothy Michael.
I mean, speak for yourself.
I am here with Miss Veronica and Miss Mike Feeling. They're not married. Veronica, what's your last name again?
Valencia.
Valencia, that's what I thought.
Call Miss Mike.
Veronica Valencia.
I'll be Miss Mike. That's
and
okay.
Mike
Miss
Feeling.
I'm good.
Oh,
I'm
I
good
love
with
it. I love it.
So Veronica watches a little bit earlier than us because of her other commitments,
Yes.
and she talked this episode down. She
She
really
totally did.
talked it down, and I understood exactly what you were talking about. However, I just think it was a function of it being a shorter premiere. We didn't get enough time to really meet all the different people on the tribes, but I have a lot of thoughts as we go through the episode, and I disagree. I'm excited for Extinction to see what happens.
I disagree too, Veronica. I'm kind of pissed at you that you talked down this episode because you got my hopes way down, and then I watched the episode and I was like, I'm excited. I'm intrigued. I think just based on the name alone, Edge of Extinction, I'm already about it. And this episode, I don't think disappointed. I do think that it was a little fast. Me and Mike felt the same way about that. But it is the first episode. They got to go through a whole bunch of these people.
Yeah.
And based on what you were saying, Veronica, yeah, we are meeting a lot of people in the first episode, but I didn't feel as if it was as rushed or as I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is, multiple people. There are maybe 2 people that I'm really not familiar with. But for the most
Yeah.
part, I'm I think I got a good feel about who people are in the first episode.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that until the coming attractions for next week when I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
that doing it?
But okay.
I think the introducing everybody was fine because that's always going to be the first episode of a new season of Survivor where you
Yes.
just have to get used to it. It takes some time to get used to this new cast.
Yeah.
For me, I think my main kind of iffy things about the season, and again, we'll see how they play out later on in time, is the inclusion of only 4 veterans and Edge of Extinction. And
Yeah.
the reason I say I feel like it's wannabe Redemption Island is because, they're going to this island for a shot to get back in the game. And I have always thought that Redemption Island would really only work for all veterans because at that point you know them and you're rooting for them. Like with the person who got eliminated tonight, I don't know if I'm rooting for them.
Oh, I am.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Speaking of, well, before we even get to there, guys, because clearly we
We're
already
usually
disagree.
like on a decently same page as
we are.
panel. Veronica's just like
I'm
out.
kind of glad I like it. I want to hear more.
She's
But
in
I want to hear more.
Thailand or
I
some
want to
other
hear more
season.
at the end. I want to talk about the veterans really quick, Veronica, because you brought them up a few times. Kelly, David, Joe, and Aubrey are back. 4 amazing veterans. I'm very excited about all 4 of them. There's not one that I'm like, okay. All 4 of them I'm very excited about. But I do agree with you, Veronica. I feel like I'm always a little bit more excited when it's a whole new cast because I feel like it's so predictable to cast targets on these veterans that are in the game. Mike, how do you feel?
I don't like it as an auto vote out.
Right.
Just like what we're seeing with the coming attractions, what we've already seen in a bunch of their discussion. Well, we got to get David out because he's like. I don't like that it's an automatic go-to thing for these newbies, and I also agree. I don't remember who said it. But I agree with, I like seeing people figure out Survivor for the first time. I don't like them going to the vets for advice and kind of, they already know how to build shelter and all that kind of stuff. Eric, I like seeing them fumble around.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
yeah.
I completely agree with Eric as well. I like when they're fumbling around too. I think that, but on the flip side, I could sit there and go, you know, if somebody returned to an island, I would be asking them all kinds of questions.
1000%. Oh, yeah,
where
you got
should we
to.
put the show?
You have
Like,
to.
I would. I mean, it's just a smart thing to do.
And I think it's interesting because we might sit here and think it's an automatic vote out because, oh, they're veterans. They played this game before. They know what they're doing. They're good at these challenges. We got to get them out because otherwise we don't have a shot.
Yeah.
I actually think it could also be the opposite and work in their favor. They could be like, oh, they can, because they're used to this, they can help us for a few challenges, but obviously they don't want them to make them merge.
Yeah.
Well, somebody in the chat is definitely going to correct me, but Tim, when we were watching, we said this always happens, and they say, let's get the vets out. But it seems like it never works out that way whatsoever. This, tonight, right away, would have been the time. First tribal council, you could gather all the newbies together saying, hey, we're all brand new. Let's just get the veterans out of here before they start running stuff. Nope, they never, ever did.
No, I am very excited to talk about the tribal later on, you guys, because there was a lot of things that were brought up that I definitely need to talk about.
Yeah.
But, okay, we talked about the veterans. Let's talk about the actual cast, shall we? So we've got one tribe called Manu. The other tribe is called Kama. We've got Kelly and David on Manu. It's the blue tribe, for those of you that missed that. There's Keith, Wendy, Lauren, Rick, War Dog, Reem, and Chris on the Manu/blue tribe. And then Kama tribe has Aubrey and Joe, Victoria, Aurora, Julie, Ron, Gavin, Eric, and Julia. You guys can look this up online, as Mike did. It's a lot of names, I understand. From the get, on the boat, who immediately stands out to you?
On the boat?
Including veterans. Out of the veterans, let's talk about that really quick. Out of the 4 veterans, who would be your favorite one? And then out of the main cast, who's the one that stood out to you the most?
I have to be honest, like, I don't think I was looking too hard when they were on the boat. Once it kind of got down to camp life is when I was starting to look at.
Okay.
And can I say who we're
Of course.
Yeah. I really like Keith. I think he's so sweet. I think it's so adorable how, you know, he's just happy and how they're trying to help him swim. And I think it's really cute. And I also really like Wendy. I think she's so quirky. And I love it. I love it.
Mike.
Okay, from veterans, probably because I am one, I'm immediately drawn to the nerds. So I like David and Aubrey. I like the cerebral gameplay. I think they're very strategic players. Now, right off the bat from the boat, I know who I'm looking at. It's Ron. It's Ron all day. Because, guys, if we're playing Survivor, at this point, you know there's going to be an advantage at every little set piece that you're going for. No reason any of the veterans should not have been looking for that. Props to Ron for finding Ron.
What is his nickname, Mike?
Ron?
Yeah, cardigan dude.
Yeah,
See, I call
best in cardigan guy.
Cardigan
You
guy.
got that secret advantage. You're like, yeah, cardigan
I'm so
guy. That's
glad-
right.
I'm so glad that you called him wrong because in my notes he's advantage guy because I didn't catch his name. He's just advantage guy.
But come on, it starts to be Survivor 101 at this point. We're in season 38. You can't slack on this stuff.
Yeah, I think Kelly is my favorite veteran to return. I mean, she's the first woman to find 2 immunity idols. She used one very, very well. And then I think out of the main cast, I think War Dog really stands out to me because he has this very hard exterior. But then you find out he's a law student, so there's multiple aspects to him, and I think that he's going to go far in the game.
Yep.
But we'll see. Things could change. We could be wrong. So the boat is filled with supplies. They've done that before in other seasons. They didn't do it last season.
it.
We missed it. We always love when they do this. So they got to get all their supplies. They get to their designated camps, and then we start meeting everybody. So at Manu, that's when we really find out why the veterans are veterans, because we see Kelly. Kelly's watching everybody. Kelly doesn't trust anybody. And why do you think that is?
I mean, you can be very obvious and say she doesn't trust anyone because she's a veteran.
Right.
And she probably would feel like no one's being genuine with her because she's target number one.
100%.
But she also made a point in that her social game has always lacked, and she's trying to open up more and be more social and make connections. And
Yes.
so that can easily stem from the fact that she's not trustworthy because she knows that she needs to work on that.
And she did, but it started to get her in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
off the bat. So that's one thing that, again, we talked about while we were watching. Because everybody knows what this game is now, they're really ingrained. People have been watching since they were like 5 years old, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, Keith is 19. The game's been alive longer than he has. So people know what's going on at this point. And right off the bat, you gotta align with people, but at the same time, you can't blatantly align with people because you're immediately targeted, as we saw it today.
Yeah.
So Kelly is in this weird kind of middle situation, I think, with that.
Yeah, and then we look at the other tribe, Mana, and we see Ron, cardigan vest dude, who got the secret advantage, and we find out what the secret advantage was. He's got to dig 3 feet east of the team's tree mail, and then he's got this advantage menu, which I thought was kind of
So
cool.
I
Brand new,
loved that.
right?
What I didn't understand, sorry, were you going to say that? What I didn't understand was...
He didn't.
I don't care.
He
I don't care.
asked me,
No,
but
he
he,
He
didn't
doesn't
even
care.
let me go
No,
forward. Oh
let
my
him
God.
go. Mike is too excited.
Because I'm
tonight.
going to forget this. I didn't understand. Did you guys catch... When does he decide? Just whenever he wants?
Well, he has to use it before the third
Third
tribal.
tribal.
So he could do any of those 3 at any time before the... That's
That's
insane.
a lot of freedom that
Yeah.
they're giving him. But also, when I was looking at that immunity, when I was looking at that menu, honestly, I feel like maybe the steal reward might be the only thing that he really makes sense. And this is to say that he doesn't end up on the chopping block or that they have a very hard vote because it's still the very beginning, you know?
Man, I don't think you can give up a free immunity idol
I don't
ever.
think you can
I just don't-
either. I don't think you can either, but like that would be way more beneficial if it was later in the game.
Yes,
Sure,
agreed. Of
sure.
course, I think any hidden immunity idol is more beneficial in the game because there's fewer people and there's a more chance that you could go home. I mean, when there's 18 people around, I
Right.
mean, there's a lot of names being thrown out, which we saw tonight. But I have to agree with Mike. I think the hidden immunity out of lose a challenge, then you can steal a reward, steal a vote, or take a hidden immunity. I would probably
It's
take the
a
hidden
steal a
immunity
vote.
too.
It's
I
have a
would too.
second vote, right? It's have a second vote, not steal someone's vote.
I thought it was
Extra vote.
oh, it was
I
an
think
extra
it's- I
vote.
think it's
Oh, it was an
extra
extra
vote.
vote. Thank you.
If by the third tribal council, you might be able to align yourself enough with a group to really use that immunity idol in a big way
Yeah.
and do a blindside. It's possible now, but I mean, blindsides are like right away at this point in Survivor. So I don't think you can give that up.
Yeah. Mike, I want to kind of take a step back to what you had said earlier about people being targeted if they spend too much time together right off of the bat. And that happens with Keith, Wendy, and Reem.
This is nuts.
I
didn't get it.
Thank you. Neither did I. I mean, I want to know what you guys think in the chat as well. When they're sitting there and Reem, out of the kindness of our heart, wants to bond with Keith and they go out to swim because Keith, for whatever reason, you're going on Survivor.
Hey,
you're not a strong
No,
swimmer.
talk about that
Come on,
first. Talk
Veronica.
about that first.
No. I'm gonna forget this.
You got it.
Oh, quippy tonight, you guys. I like it.
But first, what I want
He's never gonna let me talk. No, if it's your dream to be on Survivor, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not the strongest swimmer, but if I had the opportunity to go on Survivor, heck yeah, I would do it. There have been not people who are not strong swimmers on their show.
But girl, you get the call at least a month beforehand.
Some people
Some
don't.
people don't. I get that, but I feel like in Keith's case, he did. And if that was the case, you're on an island. You should learn how to swim.
this is a
true.
classic Survivor mistake, right? So it's true. They don't all get called for the show with enough advance warning. In fact, we have some friends of AfterBuzz here who are actual hosts who actually got called to go to reality shows and were canceled on the very last minute. So last minute stuff can happen. However, it's a big funnel, right?
Yeah.
So you got tons of people applying at the top. You are going to go through a couple interviews. Dude, on at least the second interview, you got to start swimming.
Yeah.
I would say the first interview, you got past the initial screen stage.
Right.
Get in a pool. Get some swimming.
And it's not like something that you're never going to use again. It's a life
sure.
skill
You
that
should know how to
everybody
swim,
should know how
Yeah.
to swim.
You got
So-
get some swimming, start balancing on things legit
Yeah,
because
no,
it's
I
for $1
feel you.
million. You'll probably
Exactly.
get in better shape anyway.
I feel you. And I don't want to give Keith too much slack because he is taking the initiative on day one.
Oh, it's awesome.
To go out
Yeah.
and do it. But then he gets this, like, I guess, pushback with Rick, and Rick goes back to his tribe and he's like, oh, well, they formed a 3-person alliance. And I do like Kelly, but then Kelly says something like off the cuff of like, oh, well, then we've got the numbers. I just thought it was like, what guy? Like, they're literally learning how to swim, you guys.
They're just being friendly. Reem and Wendy literally took the time to help Keith practice swimming.
Right.
And I understand that, especially at this point in Survivor, it's season 38. The game is played from the moment you jump off the boat, from the moment you land on that sand.
Yeah.
But I just think there are some things where it's like, okay, this was a moment where the game didn't need to be in play.
Yes.
They're just helping him out.
Yeah, I mean, this seemed glaringly obvious that they weren't talking strategy or whatever.
Yeah.
Keith's like flailing around, and then Reem is like, everybody look at Keith, and it's like clapping it up. This is not a strategy powerhouse
No.
going on right now.
They weren't sitting in the water whispering. I
Yeah.
think there's that even balance, Veronica, you kind of touched on it, of when to play the game and when not to play the game. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be playing the game 24/7 because you are on an island and it is for $1 million. So you should be playing it all the time.
Sure.
But it kind of takes this self-restraint to just kind of step back and enjoy where you are for just a second. It's only day one. Why not do it now before we get all crazy with it? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's just the paranoia level
Of course.
that's inherent in Survivor right off the bat. And also, do you guys think, because it was Kelly who said that, was that Kelly going, boop, I don't want to be targeted as a vet immediately, like, let's just get them, like, woo, right there.
I think it was definitely smart to throw the target away
Yeah.
from her. So if that's the case, I love Kelly even more because she's smart. But I don't like the fact that she's throwing it on 3 people who I feel are the misfits of the group, and they're just like kind of bonding together because they don't feel as comfortable talking to everybody else.
I can't blame her for doing it, but I am suspicious of everybody else for just immediately going
With it.
along with it. Like,
Yes.
but again, you can't be vocal and be like, "Nah, guys, what are you talking about? Like, they're just swimming around. Don't do that."
Yeah,
No.
Then
don't
you're
do that.
one. Then you're
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them. Then you're
yeah.
the fourth one. Yeah.
Don't do that. Let's get into the first immunity challenge, you guys, which was insane. This immunity
my
challenge
God.
was like this huge obstacle course leading up to this giant puzzle that 6 players had to do. Kama and Manu kind of start off on even footing until they get to that balance beam part, and then Kama just kind of blew ahead. Joe is a freaking force of nature, you guys.
Yeah.
Who stood out to you in this challenge?
Jeff Probst, because Jeff was at some production meeting. He was like, "We're gonna amp it up right off the thing was enormous. Like, what is happening?"
huge.
We said, like, season 1 of Survivor was like, hold this coconut level with your arm until you can't anymore. This is like American Ninja Warrior
Yes.
Oh, I do
on an
love it.
island.
I do love
Anyway, I love it.
man.
Kelly took a little bit of a spill during the obstacle course.
Kelly took a
Did
lot of it.
anybody else feel like a split? Because she seemed very out of it when
Disoriented.
when she got back up on that
Agreed.
platform. Did anyone first? Sorry, I think I spat on you. We're really into it here, guys. Did you for a split second think that maybe she would have had to get looked at by medics?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought for a second, and I'm glad you brought that up, because when she was sitting there, I felt the same way. She was like disoriented. She was sitting there. She kept wiping her head. I thought there was a lot more blood involved until they did another close up of her, and I was like, oh, it's just a scratch and a bump. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
But at first, I thought that Kelly as a player would have been like, bring the medics up here. I'm not leaving the game.
Right.
Like, bring them up here. They can patch me up or do whatever, and then I'm still playing until we get across this beam. Otherwise, she probably would have been like, I don't care. I'm going. I'll just like
Right.
take my shirt and wrap it around my head. That's how I feel like Kelly would be.
I was relieved because she fell, and I thought she missed her head on the beam. So I was like, oh, okay, she's okay. But then when it came up and Jeff said, oh, you're bad, I said, oh, she did hit her head. I was scared that she was done right away.
Yeah, and then she took this spill, got hurt, and then it didn't even pay off because Kami won anyway. Were we surprised because Joe is on that team and Joe has literally won 16 challenges?
Yeah, this guy.
He's a beast.
He's
yeah,
a beast.
Everybody knows he's a challenge beast, though, and that's a big target on him.
I always appreciate challenge beasts because I feel like.
I'm sure you do, Veronica.
Oh my gosh!
I just love using Survivor terminology in like a legit way.
Yeah.
Like, I love challenge beasts.
I love challenge beasts. Well, because I feel like sometimes, granted, given your players this season, sometimes challenge beasts I feel like don't get enough credit. They're like, oh, you just won challenges. Well, what else did you do? Winning challenges is a big part of this game, guys.
You're right.
It's not easy.
It's very important, especially when it comes to an immunity challenges.
Yeah.
So I give challenge beasts their credit for being able to win as many as they do.
Yes, here's my thing. Kamala, from the start, literally they get to their camp and already they're like, they've got fire, they're building their shelter, they're like good. And in this immunity challenge, they also win fire in the form of Flint, but they didn't even need it. They're like this, I don't want to say super tribe because I'm pretty sure in other past seasons there have been tribes that have done very, very well right out of the gate as well, but we haven't seen it in a while. And we're always plagued with weather conditions and for the last couple of seasons, these medic evacs and stuff like that in the beginning of the season. And in this one, I'm like, I can't remember the last time we've seen a tribe as strong as this in the beginning. And I'm wondering...
Not everybody.
Not everybody feels that way?
No, I'm
Oh, not everybody on the tribe is as strong.
Can we talk about Julie for a second?
Oh, let's talk about
Who
Julie
was
really
like, here's the
quick.
machete. Like,
You guys...
dude, you gotta hide that stuff. It's cool if you're not Survivor woman and all up to speed on this stuff, but you don't broadcast it or at least be...
What happened to, like, you get that call, you figure it out?
Okay.
Exactly. But I'm saying, okay, she should, but we're obviously at that point where she didn't, so she shouldn't be so blatant about being bad at stuff.
I don't know. I'm going to stick up for Julie and be like,
You
she's
think it's
my,
endearing?
I feel like she's my spirit animal. I feel like I would be the same way on the island. I mean, I wouldn't be that blatant about it, but I still feel like I would have no idea what I was doing. I mean,
If
she's
you
an
get on
Etsy shop
Survivor,
owner.
no. If you get on Survivor,
I'm also from New York, you guys.
And-
like Julie.
I mean, I am too. But if you get on Survivor and I hear the words out of your mouth, ow, I got a splinter in my foot, it hurts.
They
You're
do
done.
hurt.
You're done. We're going to massacre you on this panel. This is ridiculous. It's Survivor.
I think it's just Mike.
There's supposed to be sharks around and stuff. There have been seasons where there's like you might be sleeping with black widows. We don't know. You remember Survivor Africa?
Yes.
They had to go. Their tribal area
lions
was surrounded by the fence. Like the Maasai warriors built them.
Someone always needed to be awake so
That's
that no
right.
one got eaten.
Where do we bring back the real danger of survival? They're talking about splinters.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Well, this is why we just stay on Fiji, you guys.
Well, no,
we can't go back
Where
to
the
Africa. We gotta stay
water's
on
Fiji. That's where we stay.
I actually really like that you brought that up, Mike, because at the end of last season, when they brought on this name, Edge of Extinction, that's what I thought that this season would be, kind of bringing back the danger of it all.
For everybody.
Not help, like really having to make them survive, not giving them rice, not giving them, anything really, and just
Yeah.
trying to make them work against the elements even harder because they didn't have anything. The danger like that. That's what I thought the season was going to be by Edge of Extinction.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still intrigued of what this whole Edge of Extinction thing is. I mean, I'm going to talk about it more in the episode. Back at the episode.
Even if they didn't give them rice, though, there was this really cool time where this one girl, Angelina, did this amazing negotiation to get more.
Oh my God.
Throwback.
We're still talking about the rice, you guys.
We're not talking about it. We're moving right along, everybody, because we don't need to talk about any of that.
We talked about that for like 5 episodes, everybody.
So
I couldn't resist.
Clearly. So Kama wins. And now back at camp, of course, with Manu, it's like everybody's just scrambling. Like, who's going to be sent home? There are names being thrown out. Reem wants to separate Lauren and Kelly because apparently they're a power duo. Apparently, Lauren and Kelly, they want to target either Reem or Wendy. There's like a lot of names just being thrown out, and when they get back to camp, Reem is talking to Rick about where they should what he feels would be the right move or what he's thinking is happening. And Keith, and I just want to talk about this, and I want to know how you feel, Veronica, because he seems to be one of your favorite players early on. doesn't like how this is going down, so he just leaves and goes and tells the rest of the tribe what's going on. You thought it was smart?
So smart, because Keith didn't know the fact that he was already being isolated from the rest of the tribe. And the fact that he saw Reem was probably being too aggressive and too stubborn in that this is what I think, you're not going to change my mind. I thought it was so smart of him to leave that situation and kind of join the majority. I thought it was smart.
Straight up, great gut instinct. I loved it. He immediately was like, this is wrong. This doesn't seem right. And he booked it out. Could have been the wrong move, but I think it was the right move, and I applaud him for it.
I mean, I guess looking at the end of the episode, it was leaning toward the right move. I still think... See, here's my thing, and I'm going to go back to it because I want to talk about Wendy very quickly because it's just like a piggyback on it. Wendy is talking to War Dog and David about Reem, and she's sticking up for Reem. She's got like this loyalty for Reem. She's like, you know, I think that it's not fair for you to target her because of her age, and she's doing things around camp. So it shows loyalty. And just going back to, with Keith going back and telling the whole tribe like what they're thinking, I don't think that shows loyalty. So it's like this double-edged sword. Do you feel me?
It does show loyalty to that group of people. It does not show loyalty to them.
Yeah.
Right? So it does to the bigger group. Now, with Keith, again, I thought it was a good move. I thought he showed his loyalty to them, but I 100% agree, and we talked about this with Wendy. Her saying she's still going to vote with Reem shows tremendous loyalty. However, it's not the right move because you're immediately painting the target on yourself. You just can't do that. Yeah. What you could do is talk to Reem about it specifically and be like, look, it's the very beginning. I can't go against everybody. They said there's no way. I tried. And try to save some kind of face with that. But I don't think you tell them straight up, look, I don't care. I'm going to vote with her anyway.
Yeah.
I thought Keith made a very smart move. And like you were saying, Mike, a very good gut instinct to not be a part of the bottom two, in a sense, of this tribe. And I thought Reem and Wendy were not necessarily playing smart because, as a point was brought up in the episode, Wendy's being very stubborn. She is clear, like they are telling her to her face, you're not getting voted. It's Reem who's getting voted.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not gonna vote her out. I can't see that. I need to help her out. And it's like, it's the first vote. You don't need to be this high and mighty person and be so stubborn.
Besides the fact that we really, really like her.
Yes.
No, Wendy, stop,
we really
Wendy.
do like her, but I'm just talking about like for future episodes, Keith just comes across as one of those people that will bail very quickly.
You think so? Well, it's going to be the next move, right? It's going to be the next move. If he sticks with that original group, then okay, cool. But if he does flip-flop again, then 100%.
Yeah, I get. I mean, it's only day 3, so I mean, I can't really fault him for making a move now or switching now, but I hope it just doesn't become a pattern.
Yeah. And definitely, guys, but before we go on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. For us to continue to grow, though, we need your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. The 4 other ones don't work. Don't even bother. Just completely ignore them. And I'm actually going to ask you to do something else. Also share, because sharing really shows your friends what you're into. And if they like what you're into, because they're your friends, they will also watch us, and we really appreciate. Hey! But obviously, no matter where you are, leave us the comments so you can get involved in the conversation. We love seeing your comments in our live chat, as well as when we are off the air and seeing them on the actual video or on iTunes. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us. I mean, it's what's going to start our Survivor careers.
Yes.
So, and we truly appreciate you supporting us in doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying all of our shows.
You guys, we have the best fans, and this is the reason why we do this show, is because you guys are so amazing. So if you are watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, comment, like Veronica said, because we love interacting with you guys. We love hearing your opinions. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, give us a 5-star. And don't forget to subscribe to @AfterBuzz TV on Twitter. Mike, what's going on in the chat? Anything? I'm sure there's a lot of opinions flying around.
A lot of love
We
for
love you
us.
guys.
Why'd they go and tell Wendy, can't keep his mouth shut? A lot of people like my shirt.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mike, make it all about you.
Appreciate that. And Dre the Great said you saw War Dog change his mind and want to get Wendy out. Yeah, exactly what we're saying.
Yes.
That was the wrong move for her to make. Again, you still don't know these people. It's brand new. Don't show, you can't show your cards like that. You can't show a random loyalty to someone who they're saying they're going to kick out. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and the thing, and we'll obviously get much more into this during Tribal, but I think Wendy had this false idea of why they wanted Reem out, which I personally don't think was the case, if that makes sense. Like, because the whole case against Reem that they thought was her age. It was like age discrimination,
Right.
which I don't necessarily think that was the case.
You know,
I
could
think
have
it
been
was
in that very quickly.
extremely weird.
Because I want to talk about it, because you brought up First Tribal, so let's talk about First Tribal very quickly. First Tribal Council, you guys, they're getting fire, and it seems to be a Kelly versus Reem show from the get.
Yep.
And Reem is a fighter. You can see that from the Tribal. You can see that right before they went to Tribal. And I thought that she had clout in saying, I think it's age discrimination, because they've done this before, and we've talked about it. Mike, you are unfortunately not here. You are now, so I want to hear your opinions. But we've talked about how unfair it is for them to target the older people, and it's usually the older females. And they do it. It is a pattern in Survivor. I'm sorry, you guys. They do it. They've targeted an Olympian before because she was older.
Sure.
That was the only reason. And that's the same thing that they're doing now. Why do you think that that's not true?
Oh, well, see, no, I totally agree with you.
Oh,
on
you
that.
do?
No. Well, here, let me.
Go ahead.
I do agree
Take
with
the
you.
pin out. Go ahead.
I do agree with you in the sense that this is a pattern that we do routinely see on Survivor. Maybe the reason it didn't come across to me in this particular situation was because from the moment they got back to camp, Reem was so vocal about who she wanted to get out. And I think maybe before they even started to think about physicality and keeping the team strong, which is the thing we always hear in the first couple Tribals,
Which I think is a BS excuse.
which I do think is a BS excuse. I think it's just the fact that she was very aggressive, and it makes them question, can I work with this person? Can I trust this person? Maybe it was age discrimination, and I'll totally give it to you there, Timothy, but I think... Tim?
T-Mike.
See, Mike, there you go.
But it just... it came across to me that maybe her aggressiveness is what kind of put her more in the spotlight.
Mike shaking his
I don't
head.
know. Very, very strange history with this, with Survivor. First person ever voted out of Survivor was an older woman, but that was season 1. And of course, we know season 1, top 3, you had Rich and Rudy, which were both not young guys. So I disagree completely with them targeting Reem. If they were legit in their reasoning that she is older and thus the weaker person, or I guess the weakest link to stay strong for competitions, totally disagree. If I'm going to call somebody out, I'm calling out Rick. I don't think Rick is extremely strong. He doesn't look very good in challenges right off the bat. I definitely don't think it's Reem. And what was the most hilarious thing to me was their reasoning at Tribal Council, talking about she moved their clothes around. Like, guys, this is Survivor. You're going to be half naked the entire time. It's cool. If someone wants to dry my clothes out and help me out, you're in, approximately a 400 square foot area. I will find my pants.
Yes.
Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm just going back to what Veronica said about, them using these BS excuses about, it's to keep the team strong and all this stuff. And I'm glad that Reem brought that up. Like, how could you say that I'm not the strongest person here when I haven't even there is really no opportunity for me to show you that I'm not the strongest person here.
The Kelly thing getting hurt and her not getting hurt, that's a terrible excuse too.
Yeah.
It's just anybody could have fallen.
Of
That's
course,
silly,
and I'm
but-
glad she didn't bring it up. Reem talked to about it on like one-on-one
Right,
camera, but
right.
she didn't bring it up in this trial,
That's
which I
right.
thought was a smart move because that's kind of petty. But I do agree with you, Veronica. I think that it was because of her aggressiveness and I say that word very lightly because I don't want it to seem like she came off as so aggressive because she didn't.
She didn't.
If your name was thrown around, you'd be mad
Exactly,
too.
too.
And it's the first day, so you want to hit the ground running. It's like all of these nerves. It's like, I have to make a move now. It's like all this added pressure. I get it. But I really liked her, and I don't like how her tribe was just like, we're just going to go for Reem. It'll be the easy vote.
I also think, if I could say it, everything she said at Tribal Council,
Yeah.
I felt was straight up honest and real. Everybody else who was talking about the laundry and stuff, it felt so fake and manufactured reasons for voting for her. I was like, Reem, this is awesome. She's straight up like, guys, if you didn't want your clothes touched, just say something. I was trying to help everybody out.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I am a little bit happy it didn't go this way because I really like this contestant, but if they had an excuse to vote someone out, it would probably be Wendy. Again, going back to that comment that was made about her being very stubborn, can I work with this person? Will I be able to change her mind? Will she be able to vote with us? Kind of thing. That's more of a viable excuse, I think, to vote someone out. Like, if you don't think you can work with this person in the future.
I feel you on that point. Going back to Mike's point very quickly, with Reem and just her attitude and just being very upfront, Jeff in the tribal calls her confrontational. He goes, you know, in your normal life, are you this confrontational? And I don't like it because I get called confrontational on a daily basis.
Do you really?
Yeah. And
By who?
It's just people. And it's just
people on the street like, hey, don't look at me, buddy.
It's like, you know,
so
just
confrontational.
Like, it's like, right. I don't like that word because it just has a negative connotation when you're honest and upfront with somebody. And they say that it's confrontational, and it's not. You're just being honest and upfront.
Yeah, who's she confronting?
Well, she was just about, you know, them. I feel like they could have been a little bit more confrontational.
Herself.
Exactly, but I feel like they could have been more confrontational or being more upfront when it came to her clothes and stuff like that. Because like she said, if you didn't want your clothes, just say it. Why are you all talking behind my back? I hate that. You guys, we live in LA. I'm sorry, but the backstabbing out here is real, and the fakeness is so real, and I just don't like it. So when Jeff was like, "Oh, are you confrontational on your?" She's not confrontational. She's just being upfront, and like you said, Mike, she's literally just defending herself.
Yeah, I thought so.
But unfortunately, that's not enough, and she gets voted out.
I was just gonna say, can we talk about this vote real quick?
Yes.
I was so confused on why it was so all over the place.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
Tim and I were not.
Yeah, no, they split the votes
but we
between
did get
Reem
to
and
talk
Wendy.
to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they think it was necessary to split the vote so soon?
It is because Ron has an immunity idol right off the
Yes.
bat. So
And if you think
evidently,
about
yes.
it, and if you think about it, Kelly is a returning veteran, and she was probably in charge of this vote, and she probably was like, "We should just split the votes because we have the numbers.
Why
Why
bother?"
not?"
Yeah.
Right. And just to be on the safe side, you don't want any crazy things happening in the first tribal. Plus, they knew that there was going to be twists in the season. So I don't blame them for splitting the votes. And I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory. Reem voted for Kelly. Wendy voted for Lauren, or vice versa. I don't exactly remember what. But Kelly got a vote. Reem obviously got 4 votes. Lauren got 1 vote. And Wendy got 3. Reem gets voted out. She's pissed about it. Goes through tribal and then comes across the whole make your choice. It's like your choose your own adventure book.
It's great.
And what did you guys think about this? She could either go take a torch if she wants to stay in the game, or she could go home and leave.
Again, this goes back to my whole thing about possibly a wannabe redemption island. I thought it was interesting because I'm just looking forward into future episodes. I'm so curious who would take the route to go home.
I cannot wait to make fun of the lunatic who decides to go home. Like, some of these people have been waiting like 15 years to get on Survivor, and you got a shot to get back in. I guarantee you somebody is going to take the wussy way out.
I don't want to call it a wussy way.
It's a wussy way out.
I am curious to see why they take that way out. I'm curious to see if their body has taken just a toll and they're like, done. We've seen players several times quit because they can't take the emotional, the physical stress of being on this island in this game. So if you get voted out,
I'm kidding.
That's a logical. That's like a fair way to say, hey, I got voted out. I didn't ask to be voted out. I got voted out. But then to put yourself back in a game that you're like, I don't think I'm going to win anyway. I don't think I'm cut out for it. So I'm just going to say I'm going to go home.
See, now I
Why is that
completely
bad?
disagree, because if you come back and you make it to the final, that's the most amazing redemption story. I mean, you've got to get props. You got to get clout from the tribal, from the jury.
Yes, but at the same time, really quick, sorry, Veronica, you have to admit that this game is 50% mental. And if you're not in it mentally, and if you get voted out and you're sitting there going, I can't go back into this game, then don't go back into this game. You know what I mean? Because you're going to fail anyway, because it's all mental.
I agree with you that that's going to be some people. That's not my mentality. My mentality is like, yeah, revenge, just like Reem, like, let's go. And now I'm excited, right?
I just want to give a quick shout out to Joseph Boza in the chat. Easy for Mike to say, sitting in the studio.
Dude, AfterBuzz is basically like tribal council all day, guys.
You guys, have you not been watching? This is like a tribal right here. I mean,
This is you like
panel right now.
I dish out survivor wisdom for those of you out there who are looking to get on the show. You gotta stay in it.
Ooh, that scared me.
I don't know what that was. You've got to stay in the game.
I'm excited. Like you said, Mike, you touched on it. Reem was one of those people that has like that fighting spirit. And she, like I said, was pissed when she got voted off. So I'm excited to see what this whole Edge of Extinction is. They were very, very vague about it at the end. It was like a torch. It was like this big wooden wine barrel looking thing.
Loved it.
It's dark.
Yes.
Drama.
Then she's
of
wrapped
course.
up in like the sail of
Yeah.
a ship.
Oh, what are we gonna
It's
do?
like, yeah.
What I'm
She's got a
very
crutch.
I'm excited.
what I'm curious about is like in a couple of seasons where there have been this twist, they reveal about the second episode. I wonder if this will be revealed or if it'll be like a big surprise, like surprise,
Yeah.
we're back.
Oh, for like a long
later
time?
on.
Yeah. Let's see. Guys, that is our recap of season 38, episode 1, Edge of Extinction. It was called It Smells Like Success, which I'm not sure why. We usually hear the title of the name of the title of the episode in the episode, but nobody said that, if I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to go into one of our favorite segments, our MVP
I
segment.
did this wrong though.
What do you mean?
Do you want to change yours?
No, we'll explain it.
All right, well, let's go into our favorite segment very quickly. We've got some votes of our most valuable player of this episode, you guys. Our first vote, Ron. Ron is our first vote. Okay, we'll get into it in a second.
It's a good
Let's see.
vote.
Crumbled paper. Okay, let's see who this is. Reem. Reem was our second person, and then third. Yeah, obviously.
Did it wrong.
Third was Wendy. All right, so we've got a very different opinions. We got Reem, Wendy, Ron. Who voted for who?
It's easier to know who voted when Paige isn't here. There's only 3 of us.
It sounds so dumb to say I did this wrong, but we were talking before we filled these out. We were literally talking about Reem, and so I just put her name down of like, okay, there's my train of thought. She's actually not my MVP.
Well, now you have to
All right.
defend it. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
you wrote
that's
it.
right.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll give Reem credit. She was defending herself at Tribal Council, and you know what? I give it to her. I think she has a fighting spirit, and I would love to see how that spirit reacts with other players if she should get back in the game.
Okay, Mike.
I was Ron. Ron is my MVP because to me, he was playing from minute number 1, finding that secret advantage. Like, I love it that they're on the lookout. Maybe, to be honest, he kind of stumbled upon it, but I don't care. He found it, and that he did awesome.
Agreed. Keep your eyes open all the time
All the
on
time.
Survivor. I voted for Wendy. I like that she's so loyal and willing to even put her neck on the line for somebody. That's an attribute that I would like to find in an Alliance member, and I'm excited to see where she goes.
Fair enough.
Because
My
of
other
time,
MVP is Keith because he had a good gut instinct.
thank you, Veronica.
You're welcome.
Because of time, you guys, we will not get into production or news and gossip tonight, but we will have it for you next episode. My loves, it's so great that we are back. We're so excited
cannot wait
to
for
be
the
back.
season.
Where can the fans find you guys?
Hey everyone, Veronica Valencia here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at it's me, Veronica_V.
Guys, I'm Mike Feeling. You can find me everywhere at Mike Feeling.
And I am Timothy Michael. You can find me everywhere at I am Timothy Mike. We're so excited to be back. We will see you guys next week, same time.
The tribe has spoken.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.